Well, we're going to jump into our second feature match, so let's go and see what shenanigans are underfoot here between TRON Young, not playing TRON, spoiler alert, and John GIRARDOT. I recognize that name. Mono green aggro in the hands of John GIRARDOT, and Boros aggro for TRON. Ooh, this is going to be a good one.
Ooh, spicy. Yeah, Boros aggro. That is one thing that I was kind of thinking, and I believe I saw it in chat as well, is there is a strange amount of lack of showdown of the Scald.
Yeah.
One of the most incredible cards in Standard, but there really isn't that great home for it now that, you know, everybody's favorite creature, Yorion, has rotated and you can't blink it anymore with that. So, I mean, at this point, you know, like, people got to figure out how to use that card.
You
but it's
speak
still
for
incredible.
yourself.
Yeah.
I don't miss Sky Noodle.
Oh, come on. I think all of chat misses the Sky Noodle.
No.
I think they're with me on it.
No, chat is sensible. No one misses Sky Noodle in chat, right? Please back me up here, friends.
We'll see. All right, another mono green snow deck, though. I'm excited to see this deck in action. Now, pairing it up against a deck that has a lot of removal, especially Brutal Cathar. I think Brutal Cathar is one of the most underrated cards from Innistrad Midnight Hunt. That card is so good at dealing with tokens. And guess what? We're going to be seeing a lot of tokens from this mono green deck.
Yeah, I absolutely love this card. It's another one of the werewolves that flips, you know, depending on whether it's day and night. The cool thing about it is if you are able to flip consistently between day and night, you can just clean up an entire battlefield. You know, they have to deal with it. Yep. Every time it turns back to Brutal Cathar, it's like, hey, gimme.
Exactly.
Give me that thing. And it hits mostly everything, unlike Skyclave Apparition that can't hit tokens.
Yeah, and I think the biggest push, I've been trying to play a lot of Showdown Brutal Cathar decks because I'm just really interested in that card. And I think the biggest thing for me when I chose to not play Skyclaves is just Ren tokens. Being able to cleanly deal with them, and then even if your Cathar goes away, you get to keep it. So I think that is just great. A little bit of a misstep there from TRON Young, in my opinion. Not killing the Despair Sentinel instead of the Wolf. If you kill the Wolf, then you just get this clean Cathar target, where I really like starting by taking out one of the tokens. That way, if they do have Blizzard Brawl or something, you don't get that back. And we're going to see the Blizzard Brawl here now just give the troll back, where that play wouldn't have happened if we cast those removal spells on the other thing.
Yeah, I agree with you, especially in a deck that, you know, gets feisty, like these mono green decks do, especially with the fight spells. You want to be eliminating the creatures that they can't get back.
Exactly. Yep. And especially when you're drawing all these Brutal Cathars, eventually they're just not going to have the answer for it.
I mean, if all else fails, just make sure they have no creatures to fight with. Easy peasy.
Yeah, that sounds great. Even with Ren on the battlefield here, yeah, like normally just a top deck land there would have been devastating for TRON Young, but now, oh yeah, and it already does have 5 mana, but yeah, normally this would be devastating. You got a big blocker, but this Brutal Cathar is going to clean up Ren with the region as well, and going to be quite nice.
One other thing that I've quite enjoyed with New Standard, you know, because Ren and 7 is very popular, making these tokens and just being able to copy them with Cadillac, is playing mono black against them, because, you know, the one drop that I've forgotten the name of now, Blood Chief's Thirst, it's just 1 mana to kill a 5/5 or whatever it is. It's great.
Yeah. Agreed. These mono black decks, I think that we'll probably see a little bit of, where you get to take advantage of Blood on the Snow and these 5 mana planeswalkers that were essentially banned when Throne of Eldraine was still around, because they were not the best thing you could be doing, right? You drop a Lolth and your opponent Ember Cleaved you, it felt silly, right?
Yeah.
But now with everything being powered down after Throne is gone, those planeswalkers are back on the menu, and they're quite good.
Yes. Yeah, we see quite a few people in this tournament rocking mono black planeswalkers, so hopefully we'll get to see them in action. Not too sure how they're doing right now, but hopefully we'll get to see them in action a little later, as Ren and 7 number 2 hits the battlefield and is going to try it once again to create this massive tree folk, now a 5/5, and I sense a Cathar in John GIRARDOT's future.
Yeah, it's going to be a little brutal. for the mono green player. But honestly, we're still in a rough spot with this Ranger class. This Ranger class just putting counters on Old Growth Troll, on Jaspera Sentinel to make both of those attackers able to go through Moonveil region is going to be quite devastating. Now, there is this Shajiri Shelter that we're probably going to see. But, you know, if Faithless Haven gets in there, that's not a very clean answer for that.
I'm wondering if we shouldn't have gone with a Luminarch Veteran just to get that life off of the creature that came in, because yeah, I don't know so much about swinging in here with both things.
Yeah, that was really aggressive to get in there with that Moonveil region. Like, whoa.
So this makes me a little scared, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I don't think putting our mono green player down to 16 instead of 20 has a lot of value right now, where with that Shajiri Shelter, you're able to not only give your Moonveil region protection from green to keep it alive, you're also able to just draw a card off the ability. So yeah, I didn't love that attack.
Yeah. Ranger class gonna make this Old Growth Troll even chunkier. Faceless Haven getting in on the action. Shajiri Shelter, the only option in hand here to protect one of these creatures. But
yeah, and right now, there was a pretty good block that was available. The two Cathar and the Luminarch Veteran on Faithless Haven to deal with it if the Moonveil region could block, but otherwise that was exactly lethal, so that play wasn't really on the line.
Moonveil region gonna draw a card here. Yeah. Super neat ability on this dragon. Finds a Fury Charm Snarl, which you don't want. Sacred Fire can take care of something. Being replayed from the graveyard. Get rid of this 2/2. But still, that's a lot of chunky trample damage coming through.
Yep. Good news for Tron Young, though. You can play that Snarl and then cast Sacred Fire on the 2/2 Wolf in combat if they try to put a counter on it with Ranger class. And then you do get to draw 2 cards. Moonveil region is so good late game because all your top decks just... It's like you have Ranger class in play all the time, but you can also hit lands, essentially, you know? Now switching to Knight is excellent.
Yeah. Having first strikers against trample damage is very, very nice indeed.
I don't love not playing the Snarl, though. I don't really see a reason to hold it. Yeah, now the attacks for John are pretty rough. Like with 6 first strike on the other side, that becomes pretty difficult.
Oh, all right. Nice draws here. Luminarch Veteran and a Luminarch Aspirant. His words are complicated and confusing. Drawn there. So just 3 attackers coming in. 2 counters to go onto stuff. It's just going to be the Old Growth Troll swinging in here, though. It's going to be a 7/7.
Yep, that is valuable here. It makes it pretty tough. Like, you don't really just want to take it. And that's 7 trample damage as well, if I'm remembering Old Growth Troll has trample. And then, like, now you think about it, can I attack with the other creatures? Because you have to put a good chunk in front of the Old Growth Troll. But I think if you attack all out, you probably double block with the Moonveil Regent and a one of the 3/3 first strikers, and then you just eat a Faithless Haven. So this only gets in 3 damage. Wait a minute. Yeah, if you put it over there, actually, yeah, I like this.
Yeah, that's better because now there's not just a clean trade or a clean kill, I should say, from the Brute on the Faceless Haven.
Yeah, this is a nice attack. This demands a blocker on each creature, or it's just game. And honestly, this whole game spiraled out of control when that Moonveil Regent got into combat. If you were able to hold back that turn, then you're able to make these really good blocks, like 2 first strikers on 1. But missing out on that one turn where Moonveil Regent would have held back like 2 creatures really snowballed this game out of control. And yeah, just got too aggressive there from Trey. Or from Tron Young, excuse me.
Yeah, don't make that mistake again, as we're going to see most things die on this battlefield. Well, most red things, I should say. As the Brute, unfortunately, will not survive the attack from either of these creatures. And we'll see a trade here on the Faceless Haven with the Moonveil Regent. But yeah, that card did its job for sure.
Yeah, And here you get this. You get to deal, well, yeah, deal 0 damage. It does not check when your stuff's in play. So another added line of text. You gotta love the late deck or the late game snarls off the top.
Oh,
Always frustrating.
Those cards are just... there's a couple Lunark veterans we can get on the battlefield here, gain your life when things leave, but importantly, they don't have life link, so the game will see that you are dead before it registers that you gain some life.
Yeah, and even if you were able to play that Luminarch Aspirant, this is just delaying in the inevitable at that point. But it would have been interesting to see what this game looks like if you hold back and be a little bit more defensive, but still looked pretty good from John's side anyways, to be honest. Those Ranger classes were just going to go way over the top.
Oh yeah, Mono Green is just doing Mono Green things, and you know, it's not to say that the Boros aggro deck can't hold its own against it. It certainly can.
Yeah.
So we'll just hope for a little better luck here for Tron Young's side of things. Show us the Showdown of the Skalds, why it is still incredibly powerful, along with this Moonveil Regent. This card is very popular as the set dropped. Kind of fell off a little bit, but I agree with you. I think Showdown is probably still one of the best cards in Standard right now, and paired up with the Moonveil Regent can certainly do some work here in aggro decks that don't typically draw a bunch of cards, so...
Yep, absolutely. That is really the important thing, is you want to be able to out-card advantage your other Azeka's Chariot decks you're playing against. Because that's the thing, is you're playing Battlefield Raptor in your deck, right? You are not trying to overpower your opponent. You're trying to use a lot of synergies within your deck to be able to make these kind of creatures that don't seem that scary really, really scary pretty quickly by adding a lot of counters to them.
Yeah.
And just win with Luminarch Aspirant, gaining value over time. But on the opposite side, John is just going to be like, okay, well, I don't care about these cool things you're doing. I'm going to attack for 10. You know?
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Well, let's see how game number 2 here goes, as both players are done with their sideboarding. Let's get the action underway. Take a look at these opening hands. Give us some good ones. Oh, yes, please. Hello.
Ooh. I mean, let's stop the press right now. That is a Snarl that can come into play untapped.
Praise be.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Too good.
It's always a good thing when Snarl comes in untapped, reveals that mountain, and we can get things going here, either with the adversary or the Luminarch Aspirant. Aspirant's down on the battlefield. It's going to start gaining some counters. No fight spell yet for John Girardeau. So we'll just have to resort to this, you know, averagely mediocre card in Werewolf Pack Leader.
Yeah, absolutely. And then leaves up the Snakeskin Veil instead of playing Jaspera Sentinel, which is going to work out quite well here, either against the Brutal Cathar or the Burning Hand. So nice call. I think I would have been pretty tempted to play that Jaspera Sentinel, and it would have not worked out well for me. But now being able to put that counter there, you can even actually, if you're feeling really frisky, you can play a land and animate Lair for 1 next turn and get in there and draw a card. Now, you'd be throwing away one of your cards, so it's probably not what we're going to see, but Werewolf Pack Leader is already able to draw a card here pretty soon, which is very good for John.
Oh, yeah. So I'm not going to be too hasty with it, though. Werewolf Pack Leader just swinging in for 4 points of damage. And likely to see a Old Growth Troll follow-up, and without a Snakeskin Veil in hand. Perhaps the Jaspera Sentinel, or just leave Tron Young guessing. Well, I kind of like to leave him guessing.
Yeah, I like to jam this Jaspera Sentinel, I think. And then just next turn, you have a nice Ranger class plus level it up kind of play. You kind of want your opponent to attack into you. You're like, yeah, go ahead. And then you just come back with a giant Alpha Swing back.
2 birdie heads in hand. It's like playing hot potato, right? That's why you have burning hands?
Yes. Yep, absolutely.
Cool. Brutal Cathar getting nice and chunky, courtesy of the Luminarch Aspirant. Will we see an attack here from the big boy?
I think we're actually going to see just a switch to Knight. So that this first striker comes down, which is going to be excellent. And now it's the rough spot. If you're John, you're like, do I even want to switch it back today? Like, the first striker is really annoying, but if it flips back, it takes my werewolf pack leader. So I think this seems like a 1 spell a turn for a while.
Yeah.
So you don't want that flipping back. And that just shows the power of Brutal Cathar. It can just be so good in these creature matchups that don't have a ton of removal, like mono green.
Burning Hands is going to be played on the end step here, taking care of this werewolf pack leader. So bye-bye card draw engine for the time being. Does have the second copy as well to take care of the old growth troll if he decides to.
And now this is for anybody who remembers the old Innistrad with like Huntmaster, where it flipped if you just play 2 spells. This is different with Nightbound, Daybound. It will not go to day because it does specify you have to play 2 spells on your own turn.
Yeah.
So sometimes better, sometimes worse for some of these transforming cards.
Yeah. Takes a little while to get your head wrapped around night and day, but the way I like to remember it is nighttime, you're sleeping. You don't do anything. In the daytime, you do all the things. So that's how I remember it. 2 things in its day, do nothing, it's night.
So some really sweet play that you can do here is I would love to see just an attack with your giant creature before you play anything. Attack with your 5/5. And then if there's no blocks, which you don't really want to just chump block this yet, and then you can go Rip Apart plus Intrepid Adversary, and rip apart the Jaspera, flip the Cathar, and eat the wolf, and all of a sudden you just have a much better battlefield. And, you know, 2 turns ago, John had 5 permanents, and now has completely lost them all, and it's really on the back of Brutal Cathar.
Yeah. I think we're going to see just that. Rip Apart takes care of the Sentinel, Intrepid Adversary. Is it going to join the fray? It sure is.
Love it.
Yeah, we're gonna get flipping. Brutal Cathar turns back to his human self, yoinks that wolf. And things are looking real bad here for John Girardeau, but as I say that, Essica's Chariot drawn off the top of the library.
Your Cadillac awaits. Yeah, that was a big draw. Big draw. Needed something like that.
Best way to deal with something that steals single things is to just make many, many, many things.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is just one of those games that you just look and you're just like, wow. Right now, Luminarch Aspirant was a 2-mana, essentially 7/7 already, and still improving, right? Because it's put so many counters on things. There's some games where this card completely runs away with it, and it just looks really, really impressive.
Yeah. For me, mostly, the Luminarch Aspirant is a kill-on-sight card.
Yeah, it really is.
It's just so difficult to deal with the longer the game goes. Ranger class is going to level up here to level 3, finds a Lair of the Hydra on top. Second Ranger class will come down, add to the side of John Girardeau's battlefield. Creating that little 2/2 woof. Oh! We're not going to see an attack, because that would be silly. There's a first striker on that side of the battlefield, and it would hurt. Ooh, hello.
Oh, what a draw. That was a great draw. I was going to say, I want to see Tron Young start to get a little aggressive because eventually these Ranger classes will outvalue. But with that being the case, that's your plan. But otherwise, I was going to say maybe we animate Den, put a counter on it, and start getting in there and just doing something. But yeah, Moonveil region here is so good. I would like to play the land, though.
Yeah, these lands are poopy, man. That's not what you want to see over the top of the library. And John Girardeau is not too keen to leave anything in hand. It's just gonna get these down and just try make creatures. Just make many, 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 many more creatures. And I'm gonna say it. I don't think there is a way that John wins this.
Yeah, I'm tending to agree with you as well. Outside from some really big mistake or something, this Moonveil region is going to make quick work, especially with drawing that Shajiri Shelter. Yeah. We'll see if Tron wants to even just fire it off right now just to draw a card, essentially, and get deeper, and let's say try to switch back to day if you draw another spell.
Why not?
But I like just being conservative as well, because if John does have Blizzard Brawl on top, which is very well possible and can get a creature big enough, you don't want to leave yourself vulnerable to that.
I like this play here of attacks, let them block. Oh good, I get to kill a thing for free and my stuff survives.
Tron's got to start playing lands before he discards the lands, though.
Well, it's okay when you draw the lands, you see.
I guess. Kind of throwing away some value there by leaving lands in your hand.
Oh, are we gonna see some copied trolls?
Okay, here we go. We need a big turn.
Let's copy trolls.
Ooh.
I like this, because we've got 2 counters going on to the Esika's Chariot.
Yeah.
And 2
will
blockers.
Take out.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I think you gotta attack now. Gonna be decent. This Moonveil Regent still looks to have the upper hand, and you can't get in there with too many creatures from John's side, but yeah, I love this attack as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is real neat, because both these creatures will have to jump in the way. You can take care of either the Aspirant or the Cathar. I personally like killing the first striker, just saying.
Yeah, and no blocks is interesting too, because there's only 3 blockers. You get the Den in there as well as the 1/1, so that's 4, 6, 10, 11. Looks like we might be like 2 damage short of lethal here. But you do get to get in there with the life linker, which is helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, the life linker can become a 5/5 this turn. Sorry, a 5/3 this turn. But Moonveil Regent's just getting all the love here, because why not? That's a 2-turn clock just with that birdie alone.
Yep, and there's a layer down there too, so not quite lethal at all. But, oh wow, it just holds back?
Why?
Oh no, yeah, I agree. Get in there, end this game.
Tron, why? You're aggro. You attack. If it can attack, you go.
Yeah, I mean, here's one of those situations that we saw even last round with VSK, you know, not playing aggressively enough and recognizing when you have lethal or you have a 2-turn clock. The game is over right now if we attacked with Moonveil Regent last turn. Yeah. Now you just attack again, you're not going to have lethal on the crackback. But now at this point, like, you're kind of forced to block some stuff. And now this Blizzard Brawl is going to come off the top and actually deal with Moonveil Regent. I guess that could have happened anyways, so no matter what, drawing a card here, drawing that Blizzard Brawl was going to be excellent for John, but yeah, all of a sudden, now I think John is very easily going to win this game.
Yeah, I think so too. You know, I retract my previous statement of I don't think there's a way that John wins this, but turns out Ranger Class is one hell of a card.
Yeah, the caster curse, if you will. Anytime we call it early, you know we're going to get punished.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, so I thought Tron had this. Like you mentioned, okay, sure. John would be down to, what, 6 at this stage if the Moonveil Regent had attacked?
Yeah. So now the big thing that Tron Young has to do here, but it's even hard to recognize that you have to do it, is you got to kill Esika's Chariot so that Blizzard Brawl doesn't actually kill Moonveil Regent. But yeah, throwing away the Regent is kind of the same thing. I would have loved to see Den get animated and throw basically everything but Moonveil Regent in front of it.
Yeah, that card is just so good.
It really is.
Oh man, that's really unfortunate for the Boros aggro player. But mono green really doing cool mono green things too.
And for what it's worth, I do think mono green aggro is favored in a lot of aggressive mirror matches, essentially. Honestly, really because of Blizzard Brawl. It is such an effective removal spell for 1 mana. You know, and it really is incredible in these matchups.
Yeah, now even having the mana up and available to take care of basically anything on this battlefield. Could also take care of the Brute if he so chooses. Gets rid of the Luminarch Aspirant though. Now it's just 2 creatures down on the battlefield. We're going to go up to another level 3 because 1 level 3 is not good enough. So is this level 6 then? Yeah, right? That's how that works?
Yeah. Yeah, I think we've hit level 6, absolutely. And there's that Snarl off the top. Those are supposed to be showdowns at this stage of the game to really give Tron Young a chance to get back into it. Something like Showdown into a Brutal Cathar would be very good because, well, it wouldn't deal with it right away because it'd be nighttime, but it would flip back. So, yeah.
Maybe a hasty concede there. I would have liked to have seen him play it out a little bit because there was no Esika's Chariot down on the battlefield. Perhaps a little bit of tilt there. We've all experienced it. No Esika's Chariot. Sure, we still have 2 Ranger classes going. I don't think he was completely out of it, but certainly the game was slipping away from him at that point.
Yeah, it definitely was. And at that point, it was just going to be chump block mode, even if you don't, you don't scoop it up right away. You have that one first striker. And as long as John didn't just, only attack with a creature that died to the first striker, probably going to pull out eventually. But yeah, I agree. A little bit of a hasty concession.
All right, well, still plenty of action to go. That is round 2 of the clearly frame advantage MTG tournament. $2,000 dues on the line here this weekend. We're going to take a very short break, and when we come back, we'll have many more magics for you. That's right, I just pluralized it.
More magics!